Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Moxi Monday. My name is JD. I'm your digital media and technology specialist, and today we're going to talk about tasks in Moxi Engage. Let's take a big step back and kind of go over the overall thing here. Moxi has sort of three main parts to it, being the websites, kind of like the consumer-facing websites that we use, which is literally just called Moxi websites. The second is Moxi Present, which is the listing presentation tool, which we've done. You can see previous trainings on how to create listing presentations, how to use that for newsletters, even send out to your sphere. And then the third part is Moxi Engage, and Engage is the CRM part of it, the customer relation management tool, where you can keep track of new leads that come in through your neighborhood news in Moxi, your sphere, people you're currently working with or have previously worked with, and so on. So it's the CRM part of Moxi where it helps you create tasks, keep track of things, and keep track of where your clients are in a certain funnel. Now, in order to get there, there's a couple of ways that, if you remember, we can log into into Moxi. One of the ways is to go to Schmidt Resources, click on any of your any region, but of course probably the region you're associated with. Scroll down to the Moxi Works square right here. It says Moxi Works right there in big black letters. And then the very top link here, my.schmidtresources.com, will take you to the link to log into Moxi. Alternatively, and probably more easily, you can just go to my.schmidtresources.com. I always like to show the Schmidt Resources part, so in case you ever forget that link, you know how to find it. But my.schmidtresources.com will take you right to the place to log into Moxi. And once you log in, this is the screen that you're going to see. So we're going to go to Engage over here on the along the top bar. So Home, Present, Engage. I'm going to get that Moxi links up thing here for a second. So waiting for Engage to load. Now, if you were on the training about a week or two ago, we sent out some information from Moxi that they had kind of completely renovated their Engage dashboard, which is what we're looking at now. They made it a little bit easier. Now, of course, mine's a little bit different because I don't have clients in like you guys would, but this is kind of what the new feed looks like. Now, if you missed that training and you kind of want an overview of the feed, if you go to that Schmidt Resources link or that Moxi link on Schmidt Resources, we have under the recorded trainings, we have a new one here that says New Engage Training, August 2020. And if you click on that link, it's going to take you to the training that they held that goes over the brand new Moxi Engage. So all it really was at the end of the day, guys, I'm trying to see if I can find the screen here. It was a facelift. That's all they really did. They just kind of updated the way it looks, makes it flow a little bit easier, and so you can use this if you take a look at this if you want. But what I want to show you guys is one particular aspect of Engage, which is the tasks. So on the whole, when you add a new client into Moxi Engage, so for example, if I were to go to people up here on this top board and click Add People, I could do John, Doe, and leave that. I could add, just basically fill out all the information for this person, add as much info as I want to, and then I can mark them as a personal or a past seller or a past buyer, but I'm going to click, I'm just actually going to leave that for now. I'm going to click Done, and this should allow me to add them. So right here, tell us more about this person. I've just added someone's information in, and it's asking me to tell them about this person. So, well, I'm going to say he's a client, and all three of these things right here, create marketing plan, seller prospect, or buyer prospect, this is going to determine a task list that is assigned to them. And this task list is what we're going to take a look at in a second here. And if I click make seller prospect, all of these things come up as tasks for me to do for my seller prospect. Things that I can do that are on my to-do list in order to move them from a prospect to, you can see the very last couple of things here, complete listing agreement and obtain signed agreement. So these steps are meant to walk me through the process of moving them from a prospect to an actual active seller. And when I can do that, I can click here. It says move to active zone. I can say, hey, this guy is definitely a seller now. So I click yes. And now it's going to bring them from the seller prospect to an actual seller. And again, you can see all of the different tasks here that I have in order to make sure that I stay on track for my clients. Order yard sign, validate photos, create flyer, finalize the list price, right? All of these things here. Things that we probably do without thinking, right? So things like look at the photos, finalize the list price, maybe things like schedule broker tours, things that you may do just naturally without thinking about it. And you might look at this list for your seller. Again, mail gift. Well, not everybody is going to mail a gift to their seller just because they completed the listing, right? Just because they got an active client, you don't necessarily want to do that. So the other part is there might be something that you do for all of your clients once they become, active listings that you don't see here, that you don't see a task for. And keep in mind, guys, this is at the end of the day meant to make your life easier and to make sure that you are staying on track with your clients, that you are doing the things that you need to do to move the deal forward, to take care of your buyers and sellers, etc. So Moxi has made it very, very simple for you to edit and play around with this task list so that it reflects what you want it to reflect. Maybe you want to remove half of these tasks and just keep it a really short, concise 12 points or 10 points. Maybe you want to add more because there are things that you have a tendency to forget when working with a buyer or seller. So what I want to show you guys is basically how to mess around with these task lists. Now, on a very simple level, if I go to a client, I'm on John Doe right now, I can go to his specific task list and click Add Task. You can see that right here. It says Add Task. And I can just say, the task name is Video Walkthrough. Whoops, I can spell it right. That's step one. The description is, go to property and, perform video walkthrough of home. And then I can say the duration is going to take about 30 minutes. And the due date for me to do this is by, today's the 17th. So let's say, I want to do it by next Monday. And I can click Save. And that has now been added to my task list for this specific client. But theoretically, if you've been listening to my trainings or been attending any of my trainings, you know that video walkthroughs are things we should be doing for all of our listings. Whereas maybe scheduling staging is not something that we do for all of our listings. So let's take a look at how we can go in and edit these task lists so that our default list is what we want it to be. It's pretty straightforward, guys. All you got to do when you're on Moxi Engage is in the upper right corner, hit the little gear button up here. You click that gear. Come on. And the top button says Engage Settings. So all we're going to do is we're going to click Engage Settings. And then we're going to look at, we have a bunch of things here we can look at in terms of new preferences. All we want to worry about right now, guys, is this Task Manager tab on the left here. There's only two things under People, Leads, Task Manager. This is where you can customize all of the plans that you have for buyers, for sellers, for new leads, for just a general marketing plan. All of these things here are customizable. So, for example, in terms of sales plans, that's what we were just looking at, right? We were looking at our seller plan. I'm going to go down to the Customize button for this seller plan. And then again, there are three different tabs here that I can look at: Prospect, Active, and Pending. So you can switch to any of these three tabs just by clicking on the words Pending, Active, or Prospect tasks. But any of these three things, you will have the ability, to edit when these are, if they show up, where in the process they come in, etc. So we are going to look at the active tasks because that's just what we were looking at a second ago. Now, let's look at a couple of the specific ones that we had mentioned a second ago. So number one is mail gift. So it says here, after receiving the signed listing agreement, send your client a thoughtful gift. Okay, well, that's not something that I do when I, I mean, it might not be something you do even when the listing closes. I know that closing gifts aren't as big of a thing for in some places and stuff. That's totally fine. You might want to remove that from your task list, let alone when you just get the signed agreement. So if I want to remove this task from my default task list, all I got to do, guys, is just click the X right here. Boom. Now you see it says mail gift will be removed. That's because, as always, we have to make sure we save at the end of the day for this to come over. So mail gift is going to be removed. Let's scroll down to that other one that I was talking about, schedule staging. That's not really something that I'm going to do for all of my listings. No, I don't really do that. If I really need to do that, then I'll just make sure to add that for a specific property. I'm just going to go to schedule staging, and I'm going to remove that from the plan. But we do want to add our video walkthrough. So what we're going to do, we're going to go back up to the top. And just so you guys can see, if you accidentally, maybe create a property prep list, you're like, okay, I don't want that. And then you go input listing into MLS. You go, oh, shoot, I didn't mean to do that. I wanted to keep that. It's pretty simple. You just click that undo button. You see the little blue circle or the blue arrow in a circle. You just click that and it re-adds the task pretty simply for you. So if you want to add something that's not on this list, though, like we said, the video walkthrough, for example, all you have to do is go to add task, and you've got a couple of options. First of all, they have a bunch of tasks here that you can pull from. They're all already going to be sort of in your oh, that's cool. They've got one that says record bomb intro. Look at that. That's like a custom, or not a custom one, a templated one that you can use right there. You can scroll and see all of these options that you can choose from. You might not want to look through all those, though, because, again, there's still nothing here that I see about video besides bomb. So what we're going to do, instead of looking at this long list, all we're going to do is click New, and we're going to do exactly what we were looking at. So we're going to do video walkthrough. If I can spell that word right, that'd be great. Like we said, shoot video, maybe let's do this, shoot and edit video walkthrough. Oh my gosh, that word will be the end of me, for Facebook and YouTube, something like that. The other thing that we get to add is the due date. So it says due on day number 5 is where it defaults to right now. This due date is going to be in relation to the day that you make them an active seller. So if today on the 17th I made them an active seller, this task would be due 5 days from today, which would be the 22nd, which would be Saturday. Maybe I tell myself I want to give this 1 week. I from the time that I make the listing active, I want 1 week to be able to do the video walkthrough. Once I put that in there, I just click add. And there it goes. You'll see it have come through right here, video walkthrough, shoot and edit walkthrough for Facebook and YouTube. And just like that, I've added a custom task right there. You schedule an activity to repeat every so many days. Like, I want to repost my listing on Craigslist every 4 days. I don't believe you can do that, Michelle. I think it's kind of, there aren't many tasks here that are meant to be repeated. This is more like a checklist as you go through. So if you wanted to, you could add that a few times. You could add post to Craigslist week 1, post to Craigslist week 2, and add that 7 days, and then 14 days, and then 21 days, something like that. But this is, this is built to be more of a checklist than a reminder. The other thing you could do is a calendar reminder outside of this. But this is meant more for individual single tasks to kind of knock off. But I mean, you guys, like, if you have more questions, please kind of keep writing them in. But no, that honestly is sort of the gist of it. You can add any of these tasks that you want. You can also, if you like, I did the video walkthrough on 7 days, but I want to change this to 8 days. Again, all you have to do is click on these arrows right here and say, make it, day 10. Actually, I want to give myself even more time. And click update, and boom, that's going to move down here to video walkthrough. Maybe it's you want it to be on the same day where you put the yard sign in, so that you put the sign in, or I guess most of us have sign guys. If you put the sign in and then you do the video, and then you can go to pending tasks and look at the same thing, right? We look at pending tasks and we go install sold strip. I want to make sure that goes up. Or the sign removal, you just go, okay, the just moved postcards, I don't do that. I'm going to remove that from the plan. Mail the closing gift. I do want that, but I don't want that to be 30 days after. I want that to be 15 days after. I like to do that pretty quickly into the process. And then after you've done all of these things, guys, this is a huge one, solicit testimonials. That's one of the biggest things, remembering to ask for testimonials for social media, for your website. But again, I got sidetracked. After you've done all of this editing, just make sure to click save across the top right here. Your change, and that's a great point. This is not going to affect people you currently have in the funnel. This will be moving forward. So I click got it, I've saved that. Now the next client that moves into my seller plan, they're going to see all these new tasks. But if I have someone in there right now, I'd have to add them individually. So that's really the gist of it, guys. I'm going to walk through the process again one more time just to show you how to get there. But if you have any questions, please write them in the chat. So again, we logged into Moxi, to my.schmidtresources.com. We took a sip of coffee real quick. And then we just clicked on Engage across the top up here. Engage is the CRM. And in order to edit the tasks that we wanted to edit for anything, for prospects, active, closed accounts, just sort of general marketing plans, any of this stuff. I'm going to go to my agent mode here. For any of that, we simply click on Settings up here in the upper right corner, the little gear, and then we click on Engage Settings, and then we click on Task Manager, not Taskmaster, that's the show that I watch, Task Manager. Click on Task Manager, and then you just choose the plan you want to customize. So maybe you want to do your buyer plan, you click Customize, and then you just go through here and do the task that you want to do. You can see the buyer task list is a lot shorter than the seller task list. You can add tasks by clicking the blue Add Task button. You can remove tasks by clicking the red X. And then you click Save, and you've got your system set up. Can you show where the reminders show up for you to complete tasks? Thank you, Jeanette. Yes, so that would basically be the dashboard itself. So as people are coming up on certain tasks, you would be able to see them right here in this flow and in this activity feed. Transaction tasks down here in the to-do list is probably specifically where you're going to look for, because you will see the specific tasks that you want to do. So for example, assign a listing number for the to-do list. This is right here in the dashboard, and I can just click Mark Complete, and boom, I told Moxi that I did that specific task for John Doe. And again, yours is going to look different because I do not have a lot of clients in my, I don't have any listings or really clients in my test account. So yours will have a lot more activity here. And then finally, you can always go to the People tab where it says People. You can click on Overview. And then again, same thing here. You can see the recommended actions for people based off of what they've been working on. Where they are in the funnel, what you can do for them, and so on. The last thing I want to say, guys, before we sign off, because we're almost hitting 20 minutes, which is still on the shorter end of this stuff, which is great. These task lists, just like anything in Moxi, actually basically anything in the company, they're only as useful as you make them. So if you don't use these task lists, then there's not going to be any use in editing them. And if you look at these task lists and you go, well, I definitely need some sort of checklist to keep myself on track, but I don't like the way that this is formatted, I don't like these tasks, then go in and make it something that you would use. Take 5-10 minutes and just remove all of the things that you find unhelpful or unimportant, and add the things that you do find. And then you've got a task list that's custom tailored to how you do business and to keep you on track with what you're working on with your clients, etc. So like I said, it's only as useful as you make it. So if this is something that you love in terms of the, having the checklist and stuff, however you want to make it more custom for you, then go in and do that. That's exactly, literally what we're showing you this for, so you know how to make it useful to you. Two people just asked the same list at the same question at the same time. Can the list be printed? / can you print the task list? I don't know. I mean, they're not meant to be printed. It is meant to be an online platform. I have never, Carrie, I don't know if you know off the top of your head.
I am not sure. At the end of the day, we could probably screen print it.
Yeah, we could find a workaround for sure.
But that's a great question. We can definitely take a look at that. And if we can't figure it out on our end, we'll engage the Moxi team.
Yeah. Thank you guys, Glenn and Jean, for asking. Yeah, we will find out for you on that.